Once upon a time, the king of the giants, so they say, had his court in Wrexham, where Fairy Road is now. That's where his court was. And he was famous throughout the land. He was big. Well, of course he was big. He was a giant. He was strong, but he was also generous and kind. And one day he decided, we shall have a tournament. We will invite the flower of knights from all around the land. And the message went out, and knights came from everywhere, the best knights of the land, and among them, the knights of the King Arthur. As they approached the court of the King of the Giants, they saw colourful banners waving. They heard the voices, the great voices of the giants crying, hooray! There was a warm welcome for them all. And there was a tournament which lasted all day. And all day, whether on horseback or on foot, with the sword or with a spear, it was the knights of Arthur's court who were victorious. And in the evening, a great feast was held to celebrate them. And the knights stood on each side of the king of the giants himself. And the bard of the giants, the giant king's chief poet, sang their praises. Oh, and people talked and laughed and drank and ate until late into the night. And so it was late the next day, almost midday, by the time that the Knights of Arthur were ready at last to take their leave and travel home. And the path was long, and they were still travelling as it was growing dark around them. And somehow they lost the path. And instead of travelling along the road, they found themselves in the marsh, and the mud sucking at the horses' hooves as if it wished to drown them. And then, what was even worse, a huge beast appeared suddenly before them, a great lion, so white it shone in the darkness, and it opened its great mouth and roared at them. Well, they closed their eyes, each of them sure that this was his last moment alive, but nothing more happened. The beast didn't spring, it just stood there looking at them. And then their leader spoke to the others. He hesitated, but then he said, friends, perhaps this creature is no enemy. Perhaps it's here to help us. It has not attacked us. Maybe the king of the giants in all his power somehow knows that we need help and has sent this help to us. Do you not remember how the coat of arms upon his shield shows a great white lion to show that the king of the giants is as great as the king of the beasts? I think this may be a message for us. We should follow. And sure enough, the lion turned away, took a few steps, but then stopped and looked back at them as if to say, well, come on then, what are you waiting for? And so they followed. It went a little way, then stopped a little further, and gradually it led them from the mud that tugged at them onto firmer ground, and then onto familiar land, and then back onto the path, and they saw that they were not that far from Arthur's court. Oh, the beast stopped. They looked at it, but before they could thank it, it opened its mouth, roared again, and then vanished. Ah, their leader said, my friends, when we are back at Arthur's palace, the poets will sing our praises, but we must tell the story of what happened after the tournament. How the king of the giants in all his power knew we needed help and sent his totem animal to help us. And when they returned, That's what they did. They told the story of the king of the giants who came from Wrexham. And that story, well, now I've told it to you.